everybody. Hi there, Carson Meredith with you on this Saturday evening. It is 7:16. It is September 20th, the second to last day of summer. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've been able to stay cool today. Summer is letting us know that it's still hanging on. 92 was our high temperature earlier today. It's still pretty toasty out there behind me. You can see the fairgrounds is absolutely packed for day 3 of Louder Than Life. Crazy, crazy crowds. And I hope they all have a lot of water. That's all I'll say about that. We got a lot to talk about over the next really 7 days. The longest stretch of wet weather that we've had in a while is on the way. This is going to be very beneficial rain, especially during the work week ahead. But we start things off tomorrow with maybe a few stronger storms. And that's really the main focal point that we'll have to kick off our conversation tonight. There is a better view of the fairgrounds on our SkyTrack camera. It's been a hazy day again. We had another air quality alert. Sound like a broken record, right? We've had 5 or 6 of those in a row now. This should be the last of them. I haven't heard whether or not they've extended it into Sunday. I don't think they have yet. But it's just been so stagnant, right? It's been hot. It's been a little muggy, not terrible, but the air's been so stagnant and still. All these pollutants just keep building up. That's what's caused the air quality concerns this week. But hopefully today will be it when it comes to that. 88, our current temperature here in Louisville. We mentioned it's not too terribly humid. You see those dew points in the low 50s. It's just plain hot. That's all there is to it. And now, for those folks at the fairgrounds for Louder Than Life, the good news is they put in like that fake turf over the parking lots. So they're not getting the heat from the concrete or the asphalt in the parking lots. But if you've ever played football or if you've ever been in a stadium that has a turf field instead of a grass field, you know that that turf can get pretty hot pretty quickly as well. So again, I hope everybody is staying cool out there. Like we mentioned, we hit 92 today here in the city. That puts us, you may have seen it on our social pages a little earlier, 48 days in the 90s this year. We had 59 back in 2024, so we're below last year's mark. The average is in the low to mid 40s, I believe. So we're just a tick above what we normally see in a given year. So yeah, I'm becoming more and more confident that this may have been our last 90-degree day this year. I'm not 100% confident, but I'm 90% confident that we are done with the 90s until 2026. Closer look at those temperatures across the region. We're cooling down fairly quickly now that the sun's starting to set. Got a few upper 70s out there where there's been more clouds. Litchfield, Hardinsburg, you guys are at 77, 78 in Corydon, 79 in Paoli. Even further to the west across Illinois, it's even cooler because our friends to the west have had storms today. Now, radar here at home is pretty quiet. As expected, we did have a few little downpours bubble up around 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Those, by and large, have faded away, which is good. The only thing I see left in our area is this little shower in far southwest Breckinridge County. Having said that, I am going to keep the shower chances in play throughout the evening and into the overnight. As I shift the radar to the west, you'll note where that rain-cooled air is. I've had quite a few thunderstorms across the land of Lincoln earlier this evening. Even a severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, for confirmed 60-mile-an-hour winds right along I-64 in Illinois earlier. Now, these storms themselves are not going to be a problem, but if you look really closely, heck, I got to even look really closely to find it. There it is. There's an outflow boundary that has developed that's pushing east and southeast from these storms that we've had across Illinois this evening. Now, as we go through this next few hours, what we're going to have to pay attention to is if any activity can flare up along the Interstate 69 corridor. So that would include Evansville, maybe out towards Owensboro, and into parts of Du Bois, Orange, Crawford, Perry counties. So if that zone can get going from this outflow boundary that keeps pushing east, we may have a renewed episode, if you will, of rain this evening west of Interstate 65. Some models have been hinting at that possibility for several runs now. So we'll keep a 20% shower chance in this evening just to play it safe. I do think a lot of us will stay dry until tomorrow, but that chance is still there, especially west of I-65 for this evening. The big picture view, you can see the first of what's going to be 2 disturbances that are going to give us all the rain this week. You got a surface low pressure across northern Missouri. It's going to keep sliding north and east. And as Brian talked about yesterday, we're kind of going to be in the tail of this first wave Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. This particular system, at least for now, the way it's positioned, is not going to give us a full-on washout kind of rain, where it's going to rain a lot most of the day. Instead, it's going to give us these scattered showers and storms. Showers during the early mornings and the late evenings, thunderstorms during that warmest part of the day. So this is kind of part 1, and we'll talk about part 2 here in a few minutes. But as we go through the next 24 hours, those storm chances will start to climb as this first disturbance, if you will, moves through. Let's go to the comments. Who's here? The usual suspects. Crispy's here. Hope all's well. Kelly's up in North Vernon. Weather Geek, hello. Anita, fall is finally here. Yes, it is. Monday afternoon, 2:19 p.m. is the official autumnal equinox. So it is officially almost here. Anna's here. Hello. Tina, hello. Angela, Cody, ZK. A lot of folks here. Nathan's here. Tim's here. We need some storms. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get some the next few days. There's no doubt about that. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate it. We didn't have our 6 o'clock newscast this evening due to college football on Wave. So since I had the break, I didn't have to worry about doing an early show. I'm going casual. But if you're going to stay up tonight for our 11 o'clock news, I'll be back in the suit and tie. Let's see. Crispy, turf gets hot, and it seems like it attracts the humidity. Well, I mean, if it's insanely humid, maybe it can kind of get trapped in the turf. You know, turf is just made up of really ground up rubber pellets. If you're ever watching a football game on a turf field, you see all those little black pellets go up when a player's trying to get in bounds, trying to make a catch. They're trying to land in bounds, and all the black pebbles come up. That's ground up rubber. So yeah, that moisture can get in there for sure, which just makes it even hotter to be on turf, right? Let's see. Adam, hello. Watching up in Bloomington. Anything issues for the IU game that starts on Wave, by the way, in about 5 minutes? I am watching this cluster of storms moving out of Illinois for the IU game right here. It has weakened quite a bit over the last hour, but it is moving north and east like so. And there is a chance that we could have some lightning that stops that game in Bloomington this evening, and it's a big game. Illinois taking on IU tonight. So I know Notre Dame has already had issues this evening because of these storms, because of this system. It's not out of the question for IU to have a delay as well, especially maybe in the second quarter. That might be the peak danger zone, if you will, for any lightning issues for the Hoosiers tonight, which would not be good for us because the game's on Wave and NBC, which means our newscast would be very, very late tonight. Let's hope that's not the case. But we'll watch it, Adam, as we go through this evening. More of your comments later. Let's dive into tonight's forecast. We've talked about it. There's still going to be that chance for additional showers to try to develop in our Indiana counties this evening. So we'll keep the 20% chance for that reason. I do think a lot of us stay dry overnight tonight, but it's going to be cloudy. Clouds will keep streaming in. as this first system approaches. And that's going to keep things very mild. 67 are forecast low in the city. I think mid 60s are a good bet across the board. Maybe a few low 60s, but it will be a warm night ahead. Now, let's jump to Sunday. We're focused mainly on the risk for strong storms Sunday afternoon. That's where you see that 40% chance peak starting around 2 or 3 o'clock and going till 8 or 9 in the evening. So about, I'll just say 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's really the window we'll have to watch for strong storms. It's where we have that 40% chance. But earlier in the day, there are going to likely be a few showers around. So if you're heading to church in the morning, if you're going to run some errands, if you're really heading out early to Louder Than Life in the morning, I think gates open at 10. Don't be surprised if you're seeing a few showers, especially across Kentucky. So the overnight rain chance is better in Indiana. The morning rain chance is better in Kentucky. And as we head into the afternoon, it's everybody that could see those showers and storms. It's going to fluctuate who's seeing the showers and storms and when throughout the week ahead. So showers are possible early. We heat things up into the 80s tomorrow, mid 80s, it looks like. And that's when that thunderstorm potential comes into play. Most storms tomorrow will not be severe. Most storms tomorrow will not be severe. This is not a huge severe weather outbreak. This is not a wave weather alert day. But if we get enough fuel, how many times have you heard this before, especially in the summer? We get enough fuel in the atmosphere, we heat things up enough, we could have that risk for 1 or 2 storms to have a little wind with them, in addition to heavy rain and lightning. So all storms tomorrow are going to have heavy rain and lightning. 1 or 2 of them may have some gusty winds. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center, I think they're just playing it safe, which is completely understandable. They have covered every single one of our 34 counties in a marginal risk for severe tomorrow. That's a level 1 on the 1 to 5 scale. This is the lowest severe weather risk you can possibly have. So what does that mean? That means between 3 and 9 p.m., a few storms may have gusty winds. Pretty straightforward. Might be enough for 1 or 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. And I'm not trying to downplay it. We still need to pay attention to it, of course. But I'm just wanting to emphasize that this is not a huge outbreak or anything like that, okay? Truly, I think the greater concern is going to be the lightning impacting outdoor events. Now, there's not as much happening around Wave Country tomorrow as there was today. But obviously, Louder Than Life is still going on tomorrow. And you may have some outdoor events tomorrow that you really want to pay attention to the Wave Weather app and to the skies, especially during the afternoon. So here's Futurecast. This is overnight tonight. I mentioned that chance for a couple of showers in Indiana after midnight. You notice most of those are gone by sunrise tomorrow morning. Having said that, there are some models that suggests some showers could get going pretty early in the morning across our southern Kentucky counties, along and south of the parkways. So that's why we ramp up that rain chance to around 20 or 30% by then. You can see some of those showers trying to sneak up towards Louisville by 10 or 11. These are largely just showers early in the day. Let's keep going. Here's 2:30 in the afternoon. Still mainly a Kentucky issue at this point, but you notice there's a few more dots on the map, and those are orange and red dots, which means heavier rain and some thunder, right? As we go later into the afternoon, this is where I'm a little concerned, okay? This is 5:30, and this is one model run. This can and will change as we go through the evening, but there has been some decent agreement that a little mini cluster of storms may try to develop tomorrow afternoon around 4 or 5 o'clock. If that were to be the case, that's where you're going to have that risk for gusty winds. If we just have the pop-up kind of stuff, it's likely just going to be a heavy rain and lightning issue. But if you get more of these little mini clusters like Futurecast is showing here, that's when you may get a wind issue come into play. So again, 3 to 9 p.m., the general window for storms in general on Sunday afternoon. We keep going into Sunday evening. Look how these storms just start to fizzle as we get closer to sunset. Sunset's pretty early now, right? It's around, I think, 7:40, 7:43, somewhere in there. So as soon as we hit sunset, these storms are going to start to weaken. So this is a very narrow window to see strong storms or storms in general tomorrow. Even so, with this first system still moving through, we're going to carry that chance for showers into Sunday night. I think the coverage tomorrow night will be lower, kind of like tonight. But there will still be that chance for a few showers into the evening and overnight hours tomorrow night. It's really a carbon copy forecast tomorrow like we had today, except we'll have a few more storms and some of them could be stronger. That's the big difference tomorrow. So there's that. That's the situation for Sunday. Go back to the comments real quick. Let's see. Hello, Tim. Appreciate you stopping by. Are we going to get rain in Mount Washington? If you don't get rain, let's just say anywhere. Mount Washington, E-Town, Litchfield, Hardinsburg, Tell City, wherever. If you don't get rain tomorrow, you are going to get rain at some point this week. Be it any day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you don't get rain tomorrow, don't stress. You'll have plenty more rain to come this week. Very beneficial rain, it appears. So it might be kind of a yucky, dreary week, but we need the rain for sure. Tina, I'll be in bed by the PM news. I don't blame you. I probably will be too. They may have to wake me up if the game delays our newscast, but that's okay. I'll be there. Let's see. Storm Chaser Jason's here. DJ King's here. Adam, yeah, big game tonight. Good luck to the Hoosiers. Hopefully the weather behaves. Shonda's here. Hello. Braden, thoughts on an alert day for tomorrow? I don't see one at this point just because I don't think the severe threat is widespread enough. I don't think we're looking at a wall of severe storms. I think we're looking at one or two storms that may have some wind with them. Most storms will just have rain and lightning. So right now, holding off on the alert day, but obviously if the risk becomes a little greater overnight tonight, then we may have to reevaluate. Let's see. Crispy, is this the graph or the HRRR? This is the HRRR. The graph's been having some behind the scenes issues that we can't control. So it's been kind of sporadic the last few days. So I'm leaning towards the HRRR this weekend. ZK, rain Sunday morning and afternoon. Morning, a few showers are possible, yes. Especially if you live in Kentucky, south of Louisville. Tomorrow afternoon, we all have a better storm chance. But it's not a washout. It's not a washout tomorrow. Not enough to cancel your plans or anything like that. So that's the story for tomorrow. If you're heading to Louder Than Life, if you know anybody that is, make sure they have the rain gear. I would imagine they don't allow umbrellas, so make sure they have ponchos. And make sure they're paying attention to the Wave Weather app. We will be sending out notifications on the app exclusively for the fairgrounds tomorrow afternoon as needed if there's any storms that are coming in, giving people that earliest alert that it's time to head inside, okay? So it's about a 40% chance during the afternoon when a lot of the acts are going on, 2, 3 p.m. until about 9. And we still keep that chance for a few scattered downpours into the evening and overnight, but the storm threat should start to wind down. Notice those temperatures are cooler tomorrow. That's another difference with Sunday. We'll have more cloud cover. It'll last all day, and that'll cool us down with those highs in the mid 80s tomorrow instead of the low 90s. Churchill Downs Family Day, asks Baz, B-A-Z on YouTube. Same story. Storms are possible. Showers possible early. Storms possible in the afternoon. 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. is kind of that window I want you to watch for storms in general, one or two of which could be strong. Okay? I honestly forgot that the fall meet is still happening this weekend and through the rest of the month. So tomorrow is the appetizer. Tomorrow is the appetizer to what is going to be a very wet setup this week, next week, however you want to look at it. That first system that's going to ramp up our storm chances tomorrow, we're still caught in the tail of it as we head into Monday. We may be seeing another dose of showers Monday morning, followed by more scattered storms Monday afternoon. You heard that before? It's what we're going to see tomorrow. We'll do it again on Monday. I don't see a huge severe threat on Monday either, but I can't rule out one or two pulse storms, that briefly have a little wind with them. So that's Monday. Tuesday, this is the European model, by the way. Tuesday, the first system and the tail of it slowly drifts east. Slowly. This is a stagnant pattern. And that may help to drop those storm chances a tiny bit on Tuesday. I'm not totally sold on that. I do think we'll still have some storms around Tuesday, but they will be scattered because we'll kind of be sandwiched in between the first wave going east and this sucker out to the west moving in. Tuesday's kind of a transition day. Out goes one system, in comes another. We get into Wednesday. This is the second low pressure that'll be moving through. The big difference here is this low pressure is going to develop and move right over us as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. And the big difference with that is we're going to have a lot more moisture, even more than we'll have tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday, for that matter, which means the rain chances are going to be higher. And that's also where we may have some heavier rain that causes problems as well. So Wednesday and Thursday look to be the wettest days this week as it currently stands. And this low pressure is just going to hang around. It's just going to kind of spin in place, giving us showers and storms, good soaking rain Wednesday into Thursday. Is it enough to cause flooding concerns? Not really, because we're so dry. We're not bone dry, but we're dry. If we were bone dry, then you'd be really concerned about too much rain falling at once causing runoff because it can't absorb into the ground. We don't have to worry about that too much. Since we're kind of in the beginning stages of a drought, a lot of this moisture will be able to, or this rainwater, I should say, will be able to get absorbed in the ground. So Wednesday and Thursday, that low pressure circulating right over us, basically. And that's when our storm chances and rain chances, just rain and storms in general, that's when the chances are at their highest. The question then becomes, as we get towards the end of the week and next weekend, when does this low get a move on? And the models are still kind of going back and forth on that. The Euro, for example, earlier today had this low basically out of here by Friday. Now it's decided it wants to keep this low around a little while longer. So that would mean continuing shower chances into Friday and possibly into next weekend. So confidence next weekend, the forecast is a little bit lower. A lot of times these lows, these cutoff lows basically, they like to stick around a little while longer than we think. Remember Derby this past year? Yeah, that was a cutoff low that didn't want to leave. That's why it was so nasty on Derby Day. So that's the storyline as we head into the end of the upcoming week. This is going to be very beneficial rain. A lot of us, like our general forecast across the board, we're looking at a solid 2 to maybe 4 inches of rain this upcoming week. That would be awesome when it comes to getting this drought under control. I'm not ready to say it's a drought buster, but it's getting close to being a drought buster where it would just completely wipe it out in a flash. If nothing else, this would really put a limit on the fire danger as we head into the end of September and beginning of October, which is also a good thing. But in general, we're looking at a solid 2 to maybe 4 inches of rain over the entire area this week. Now, there has been indications where you see that orange band. There has been indications that somebody nearby is going to get maybe 4+ inches of rain this week. But that band has just been going so far back and forth. It's been going north, south, north, south, north, south. I don't want to pinpoint who may see more than 4 inches of rain. I think that's rather isolated at this point, to be honest with you. I just think we're looking at a solid 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of rain across the board through the next week. So that's going to be great. It's going to be a nasty week, obviously, but that's really going to help to limit the drought issues. Hopefully get rid of the drought. We'll wait and see. And the fact that all this rain is going to be spread out over several days and we'll have breaks in the rain from time to time, that'll help limit the flooding issues too. This is not like April. This is not like the historic flooding back in April where we just had nonstop heavy rain for 3 days or 4 days, whatever it was. Not like that. But we need this rain, and we're going to get it as we head towards this upcoming week. All right, here comes the 10-day, and we'll get a few more comments in here before we wrap it up. 86 tomorrow, and that could be, I'll be straight up with you guys, that could be a bust, especially if we have showers in the morning. If we have showers in the morning, I don't think we're getting to 86. Here in Louisville specifically. Most of us will be in the low 80s tomorrow. 84 Monday, and then you kind of see we level off into that upper 70s, low 80s range through the rest of the 10-day. That looks like it has some staying power with it. And that's pretty seasonable for this time of year. Upper 70s, near 80. Not out of the ordinary. Scattered storms tomorrow afternoon. Scattered storms Monday afternoon. Scattered storms Tuesday. Highest rain chances right now look to be with that second low pressure that moves right on top of us Wednesday into Thursday. And then it's kind of a wait and see game when it comes to Friday and next Saturday as far as how fast we can get that low out of here and wind down those rain chances. But very beneficial rain is on the way over the next week. So there we go. That's where we are at this point, my friends. Questions, comments. Kelly, any severe concern Wednesday and Thursday? I don't see one at this point. I think there will be some thunderstorms, yes. But because that low is so close to us, that kind of makes it more of just a rainy, yucky setup as opposed to a severe setup. So not a huge severe risk Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see. Crispy, the low right over us, that usually means stronger shear. That is true. Is it not enough for a bigger severe risk? Not at this point. That's a good point that you make. A lot of times when a low pressure is right on top of us, you get a little shear, a little more spin in the wind. But because it's just more of a, like I said, a rainy, yucky setup, we don't necessarily have to worry about severe this go round. So, let's see. Hey, Shonda answered the question before I asked it. Well, good. Glad we got that taken care of for you. Ann says this will help with the fall colors. It will. You know, right now the colors are changing mainly because the trees are stressed by the heat and the dry weather. So, you know, cooling back down to where we should be and getting all the moisture back in the ground, I'm hopeful at least, that'll really get some of these colors to pop as we head into October. Of course, the problem is, can these leaves survive all this rain? Or will they just get, splatted off under the ground? That's another thing we'll have to watch. But let's hope it does give us more pop in the colors. Anita, can we finally turn the air conditioning off? Well, that'll be personal preference as we head into next week. I think we got low temperatures still in the 60s this week during the rainy pattern. So you may want to keep the AC on. We may get back down to the 50s for lows by next weekend. But even then, for me personally, that would still be warm enough to keep the AC on. We'll get there eventually, though. Let's see. Jacob, bring on the rain, calm the dust down. No kidding. It's especially out in the country. It's getting real dusty real quick. So Adam's asking where the IU game is. I'm not sure. We do not make those decisions, Adam, as I'm sure you know, but a lot of people don't. We do not make programming decisions when it comes to NBC Sports. That's not us. We just air what they give us. Let me see if I can find something real quick on Twitter, if they're saying anything. Yeah, because I know a lot of you guys out there, especially in Southern Indiana, are wanting to watch this game tonight. And if anybody else has any other questions, let me know before we wrap up our conversation. I'm trying to find what's going on for you guys. Let's see. I am seeing, Adam, that the game is starting on Peacock. That's all I see. So, again, that's not our decision here at Wave. We do not make that call. That is an NBC decision. So my guess is they're going to stick with the Purdue game until it ends, and then they'll go to Bloomington. So I guess in the meantime, I have to stick with Peacock, unfortunately. Sorry about that. That's the problem with these weather delays, right? Is they want to stick with one game, but they know another audience is trying to watch the other game. Yeah, it's a mess. So sorry about that. But for now, the IU game is on Peacock. It will be on Wave and NBC once the Purdue-Notre Dame game ends this evening. Let's see. A couple more questions. Braden's asking about the drought monitor. I'll pop it up real quick. 1 second. It did get worse, as you might expect. You can see basically all of Wave countries in that tan color. That means we're in a moderate drought. But if you remember last Sunday, we had that band of heavy rain set up right along I-65 in Southern Indiana, kind of drifted down into Meade and Breckenridge County. That helped in that little sliver of the area. That helped the drought just a bit, but everybody else did see those worsening drought conditions this week for sure. Let's see. Shonda, we're going to end up going from AC to the furnace in 24 hours time. Yeah, it'll happen. You get a huge cold front in here. We go from 75 to 35 real quick, for sure. It looks like they have just switched to IU on NBC. So they've dumped the Notre Dame game, and IU is kicking off as I speak on Wave. So IU fans, the game is now on Wave, and you didn't miss a second of it. So I'm glad they did that. I'm very glad they did that. Because usually that means our poor folks at the desk would be getting calls from IU fans that were complaining about that, that don't understand how that all works. So, but yeah, the IU game is now on Wave and NBC. So that's good. Let's see. Jeff, We enjoy watching. Thanks. You're doing a great job. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're very kind. Miss what's going on. I'm going to rewatch it. Yeah, I'm about to wrap up. Give it 30 seconds and it should be able to pop back up for you and you can go back and look at Sunday and the rest of the week. All right, guys, that is going to do it for now. Pretty wet week ahead. So get the rain gear ready. Get it ready. And make sure you're paying attention tomorrow for those storms in the afternoon, not only for the rain and lightning, especially if you're going to louder than life, but some of those storms are going to have a little wind with them. May have 1 or 2 warnings. So keep your eyes peeled to the Wave Weather app. Keep your eyes peeled here on Wave Weather Now. Wavy might be busy tomorrow, sending you those alerts the second they are issued, if we do have any, on Sunday afternoon. And then we have all the rain for the rest of the week ahead. Ricky likes the pullover. Appreciate it. They gave this to me when I first started here last year, and I like it. It's comfortable. It's long sleeves, but still feels pretty good. All right, that's going to do it for now. You guys can see us on Wave News after the IU game. If you're going to go to sleep well later on tonight. And we'll be back here tomorrow watching all these storms for you. So take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your Saturday night, and I'll see you guys later.